Today we're looking at the Shingleback Lizard, and we're going to do a drawing of a Shingleback Lizard. Here's one that I spotted back in Western Australia.
I am the snake artist and my mission in life is to get people to appreciate art and wildlife.
It's Lizard Week, and today we're looking at the Shingleback Lizard, also known as the pineapple lizard or the sleepy lizard, a whole heap of common names. I just know it as the Shingleback Lizard, and today we're going to be drawing the Shingleback Lizard. Here's one that I looked at in Western Australia. I love the Shingleback Lizard. It's one of the most gorgeous little lizards, so different from many of the other lizards. Its stumpy tiny little legs, its big head, looks a bit like a wombat with a big blue tongue. Puts that blue tongue out just to look threatening and menacing. And I think I've got enough sketches here to take this sketchbook back into the studio and work on another drawing that you guys can follow along with. Shingleback, I'm going to start off with their head about here. So I'm going to start off with a bit of a circle there, and from that we're going to put a bit of a shape like this. Bracket there for the neck. Then a long sort of sausage shape, I guess, goes here for the body. It's a stumpy tail. Sometimes they're called stumpy tails or knob tails. Called pinecone lizards, all sorts of names given to this guy. So this is the basic shape of him. You got your head here, your tail here. I think part of the defence is that the head and the tail look very, very similar. So if a bird's going to attack it, sometimes doesn't know which end to attack. Right, we're going to put also like a letter U up there, sort of back to front, upside down, knobby bit there, it's one of his legs. Another one, bit coming down there. Here we're going to do the same here, sort of like an ovally shape really. Opens up there. Another one coming down like that. A bit of a circle there. This is where his feet is, and we're going to put one of his arms here, so we're going to put like a bracket there. A bit of a straight line there, a bit of a curved line there. This is where his little toes are going to be. Now about here, where his eye is. We may have to thicken him up in places too. Might just thicken that body up a little bit. Okay, it's a basic shape. Now the mouth. So I'm going to sort of like, the mouth's going to curve down and curve up, but very, very subtly. So you can see there's a very slight curve there and a slight curve there. And that's going to be a bit like that. Now some scales here. A bit rough sort of thing. Row of scales there, some scales there, scale there for the nose hole, some little scales here, where his eye is. Because unlike the snakes, this guy has eyelids. Part of what makes a lizard a lizard. Now, scale, some small ones there. We're going to put some bigger scales here. It's one of the features of this lizard, is the really big scales they have. And likewise here. Sort of makes them easy to draw in some ways. So when we get to the edges here, you can sort of just do brackets like that. Now, there's an ear opening about here. Just have a hole. This bit here where the neck joins on, just here. A lot more smaller scales here. I'm just going to do some little brackets. And here, these scales, they get big and they get sort of pointy. A bit like a pine cone. So I'm going to do that all the way along the back here. So you see what I do? It's almost like an alternate zigzag. So on the ends there, I'm going to squish them up a bit. Let's go for most of the mid ones. And you notice they're never perfect. They're not, they sort of tend to be a bit all over the place. Here, I'm going to squash them down because it's going wrapping around like that. The other thing is we're going to sort of put some patterns over these too, which is also going to break up the scales. So here again, around the armpit, we've got some more smaller scales, which just start melding into the bigger scales. It's a cool little animal. One of the things that disappoints me about scientific names is that this one used to have a really cool one. It used to be Trachiosaurus. Doesn't that sound like a dinosaur? It's now gone into the genus of Tequila, the same as all blue tongues. And yeah, I mean, we always knew it was a blue tongue, but still, Trachiosaurus did sound really cool. That's one of the things I don't like about scientific names, is you learn them and they change. Now, these scales have got to get bigger here, much bigger. So you see what I do when I've got something like that, I sort of fill in the gap. Now I'm going to make these a little bit stubbier as it comes to the end. There we go. Now on the legs. I might do that, but I'm going to end up probably making them a lot rougher. Now, these lizards have 5 little toes and 5 little fingers. wiggly line through there, shade underneath it. Now if we put a bit of shadow under here, we come pretty close to doing all the penciling that we need. All over here. Little toe there and there, like that. So I'm going to decide that there's going to be some shade up here, a bit there, a bit there, a little bit here, a little bit here, all the way along, almost like stripes, but sort of a bit more subtle than that. Let's put a bit of shadow under this as well. I want to ready to go ink. Now you can use different marker pens if you want. I like to use brushes. It's just what I like to use. Because brushes give you a nice sort of flowy sort of feel. Now I want this to make this a happy little lizard. Make him smile a little bit. Because we all love happy little lizards. So I'm going to fast forward parts of this. If ever I go too fast just normally, or if you don't quite getting it, it's just like, pause the video, catch up, continue. And the other thing is, if you are copying, following along, yours doesn't have to look exactly like mine. It's a little bit like signatures. Everybody signs their name differently. So even if you're drawing exactly the same thing, it might look a bit like it, but it might not be exactly like it. You don't worry about that. That's your style, just like your handwriting is your style. So much finer pen again. This time we're going to be stippling. I stipple up here. See how I did a little bit of shading? Well, now it gets stippled. It just means dot, 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 dot. Put enough dots together and you've got yourself a bit of a grey tone happening. Okay, so happy little lizard, we're going to give him a little bit of colour. And I'm just using this Chinese brush that I usually, whenever I go to Melbourne, I go to little Chinatown, and I'll sometimes just buy these brushes. They're quite cheap. Alright, I think you can get them from art shops these days. But I remember I used to have to go down to like a Chinese news agents. And it's funny because, if you turn up at these places enough, they start talking to you in Chinese. Probably because I used to buy some of their comics. So they thought I must know the language. But I was just looking at the pretty pictures. Okay, back to the lizard. So it's a really, really pale yellow. Sometimes it's almost white yellow, and sometimes the back's sort of like a dark chocolate to almost a steely grey. But I lay down this colour first. This brush is actually taking off some of the colour now, making it lighter. See that? Just lift up. It's a fun of watercolour. Probably should let that dry, but as impatient as I am. The great thing about these Chinese brushes, they come to a fine point. So they can go thick or thin. I'll show you my watercolours. See that? Messy, aren't they? What I love about watercolours though, you let them dry out, add water, you go again. So that's the sort of watercolours I'm using at the moment. And there is our finished happy little shingleback. And that was how to draw the Shingleback Lizard. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as part of Lizard Week, because we love lizards. And there goes our Shingleback, walking off under a bush to get out of the sun. So maybe you want to check out this other video as part of Lizard Week.